are wilder than others.
Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Chinese dams to be discussed during India visit of US National Security Advisor, even as India raises concern over a hydropower project in Tibet Autonomous Region. Days before inauguration, Donald Trump's hush money case sentencing set for January 10. Judge says must be sentenced but signals no jail. President Biden blocks takeover of US steel by Japan's Nippon Steel, cites national security as reason. Companies call decision a violation of due process. Zero visibility in parts of Delhi-NCR due to dense fog. Grab 3 measures back as air quality worsens. Trains run late, flights face delays. And in sports, India's bowling unit all fired up as Mohammad Siraj's double strike and Bumrah's early salvo rattles Australia on day 2 of the Sydney Test. US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan's visit to New Delhi from Sunday is expected to include discussions with Indian counterparts about the impact of Chinese dams. US has seen in many places in the Indo-Pacific that upstream dams that the Chinese have created, including in the Mekong region, can have really potentially damaging environmental but also climate impacts on downstream countries. The Indian government too has conveyed its concerns to Beijing about China's plan to build a hydropower dam in Tibet on the Yarlung-Tsangpo river, which flows into India.
We have seen the information released by Xinhua on 25th December 2024 regarding a hydropower project on the Yarlung-Tsangpo river in the Tibet Autonomous Region of China. As a lower riparian state with established user rights to the waters of the river, we have consistently expressed through expert level as well as diplomatic channels our views and concerns to the Chinese side over mega projects on rivers in their territory. These have been reiterated along with the need for transparency and consultation with downstream countries following the latest report. The Chinese side has been urged to ensure that the interests of downstream states of the Brahmaputra are not harmed by activities in upstream areas. We will continue to monitor and take necessary measures to protect our interests.
Chinese officials say that hydropower projects in Tibet will not have a major impact on the environment or on downstream water supplies. The construction of that dam, which will be the largest of its kind in the world with an estimated capacity of 300 billion kilowatt hours of electricity annually, was approved last month. India has also lodged a solemn protest with China over its announcement of 2 new counties in Hotan Prefecture, which fall within India's union territory of Ladakh. In a media briefing on Friday, India's Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said India has never accepted the illegal Chinese occupation of Indian territory in this area.
We have seen the announcement pertaining to the establishment of 2 new counties in Hotan Prefecture of China. Parts of jurisdiction of these so-called counties fall in India's union territory of Ladakh. We have never accepted the illegal Chinese occupation of Indian territory in this area. Creation of new counties will neither have a bearing on India's long-standing and consistent position regarding our sovereignty over the area, nor lend legitimacy to China's illegal and forcible occupation of the same. We have lodged a solemn protest with the Chinese side through diplomatic channels on this matter.
Amid rising concerns over an outbreak of human metapneumovirus or HMPV in China. India is monitoring the situation and is also in touch with international agencies. National Center for Disease Control is closely monitoring respiratory infections, seasonal influenza cases and other viral infections. No case of this virus has been yet reported in India. Now, World Braille Day is being celebrated today to create awareness on the role of Braille as a means of communication and empowerment for the visually impaired. The day commemorates the birth anniversary of Louis Braille, the inventor of the tactile writing system that has transformed lives worldwide. The theme for 2025 World Braille Day is celebrating accessibility and inclusion for the visually impaired. As millions of people globally face visual impairments, this day emphasizes the need for accessible communication and education tools to promote equality and opportunity. Braille is a system of raised dots arranged in cells which individuals read by moving their fingertips over the embossed patterns. Each Braille cell comprises 6 dots arranged in 2 columns of 3. These dots are combined to represent letters, numbers, punctuation and even musical notes. A cold wave continues to grip parts of India. A thick blanket of fog enveloped India's national capital Delhi on Saturday, reducing visibility and affecting traffic. The city woke up to a chilly morning with a dense fog cover. As Delhi suffered a dip in its air quality on Friday, the Commission for Air Quality Management implemented Stage 3 of the Graded Response Action Plan or GRAP across the national capital region. As per the latest update by the India Met Department released Friday night, dense fog and cool day conditions are likely to prevail over parts of northwest and central India during next 2 days and improve thereafter. Let's now take a look at other stories making news today. A significant milestone in strengthening communication and cultural integration was achieved as the 10 kilowatt FM transmitter at Akashvani Kokrajhar was virtually inaugurated from Guwahati on Friday. The ceremony was graced by a presence of Assam Governor Lakshman Prasad Acharya, India's Minister of Information and Broadcasting Ashwini Vaishnav and Chief Minister of Assam Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma. The National Investigation Agency charge-sheeted another accused in a 2020 narco-terrorism case relating to the seizure of 17 kilograms of heroin along with cash in Jammu and Kashmir. The NIA filed the charge sheet before the agency's special court in Jammu. The Border Security Force intercepted and recovered a quadcopter drone in Punjab's Gurdaspur district. According to the BSF, the recovery was made during a search operation launched after detecting drone movement near the border fence. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Moldova faces an energy security crisis after breakaway enclave of Transnistria cut off from Russian gas supply. Prime Minister Doordarshan says committed to helping the enclave. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken takes up high-stakes visit to South Korea to address regional security efforts, to also visit Japan and France.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Sikkim is not a destination, it's a journey. Into spirituality, into untouched nature. Into abundance. A lesson in compassion, perseverance, harmony, organic living. A fine example of respecting tradition. While embracing modernity. Welcome to a small state with big treasures.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. US President-elect Donald Trump will be sentenced on 10 January in his hush money case in New York, less than 2 weeks before he's set to be sworn in as president. New York judge signaled he would not sentence Trump to jail time, probation or a fine, but instead give him an unconditional discharge. Trump had attempted to use his presidential election victory to have the case against him dismissed. His team criticized the judge's decision to go forward with sentencing and said the lawless case should be dismissed immediately. Trump was convicted in May 2024 of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records related to a $130,000 payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels. The president-elect has denied all wrongdoing and pleaded not guilty. Now, US President Joe Biden has blocked Nippon Steel's $14.9 billion bid for US steel, citing national security risk. The high-stakes deal, announced in December 2023, faced bipartisan opposition ahead of the presidential election, with both Biden and Donald Trump pledging to halt it. Biden emphasized the need for a strong, domestically owned steel industry, critical to national security and supply chains. Nippon Steel, the world's fourth-largest steel maker, had offered concessions including US veto power over production changes, but was rebuffed. While the United Steelworkers Union praised the decision, US Steel CEO slammed it as political, warning it jeopardizes jobs and insults Japan. Japan's government expressed regret, fearing harm to US-Japan economic ties. Legal challenges from Nippon Steel may follow. Now, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken will begin his visit to South Korea, Japan and France from today amid a political crisis in Seoul, where Secretary Blinken will meet with senior government officials to reaffirm the ironclad US-South Korea alliance and discuss ways two nations can build on critical cooperation on challenges around the world based on shared values. The Secretary will also discuss how the both sides can strengthen key efforts to promote a free, open and prosperous Indo-Pacific, as well as trilateral efforts with Japan. South Korea's presidential guards and military troops on Friday prevented authorities from arresting impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol under criminal investigation for insurrection over his December martial law bid. It was the first attempt by authorities to arrest him, during which they faced a 6-hour standoff with the presidential guards. Yoon supporters who gathered near the residence vowed to block any attempt to arrest him. In Japan, Secretary Blinken will meet with senior Japanese government officials to review the tremendous progress the US-Japan alliance has made over the past few years. Secretary Blinken will reaffirm the importance of the alliance in addressing a range of bilateral, regional and global issues and continue to build on the momentum of US-Japan, South Korea trilateral cooperation. In France, Secretary Blinken will meet with senior French officials as part of our vital partnership to address challenges in Europe, the Middle East and beyond. Moldova faces energy security crisis, Prime Minister Doordarshan said on Friday after its separatist Transnistria region cut off from Russian gas descends into factory closures, restricted heating and rolling blackouts. The crisis peaked after Russian gas flows via Ukraine were halted on New Year's Day following Kiev's refusal to extend a transit deal with Moscow amid the ongoing conflict. Russia blames Kiev for refusing to renew the gas transit deal. Prime Minister Doordarshan assured Moldova's energy security with imports from Romania but lamented the enclave's refusal of aid, including generators and biomass systems. He said the Moldovan government remained committed to helping the enclave. Transnistrian leaders hopeful for Russian gas declined offers to buy from Europe, citing higher costs. Now, Israel has defended its raid on Kamal Adwan Hospital in North Gaza, claiming it had irrefutable evidence that Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad militants were using the hospital. However, the UN Human Rights Chief Volker Turk disputed this justification, stating that Israel's claims were unsubstantiated and often vague and broad. The World Health Organization has also urged Israel to release the hospital's director, Hussam Abu Safia, who was detained during the raid. Israel's Deputy UN Ambassador Jonathan Miller claimed that over 240 terrorists were apprehended during the raid, including 15 who participated in the October 7 massacre in southern Israel. The Kamal Adwan Hospital has been at the center of controversy, with Israel accusing Hamas of using the hospital for military purposes. However, hospital staff and the WHO have denied this, stating that the hospital was providing critical medical care to the civilians. Now, Poland has taken over the presidency of the Council of European Union, marking the beginning of its 6-month term. This development comes at a challenging time for the EU, which is facing a multitude of global crises, including a sluggish economy, rising tensions with the US, China and Russia, and internal political disunity. The Polish presidency has outlined its priorities, including strengthening the EU's security and defense capabilities, promoting economic growth and competitiveness, and enhancing the EU's role in global affairs. Poland's leadership will be crucial in addressing the EU's pressing challenges and promoting unity among member states. In a show of support, the President of the European Council, Antonio Costa, joined Poland's leadership to stress the importance of continued support for Ukraine, which is grappling with conflict.
The motto of the Polish presidency is Security Europe. Our union was born as a project of peace after World War II, and we need to strengthen once again our security to ensure peace in Europe. Therefore, Ukraine must remain our top priority. This year, we must continue to stand with Ukraine as much as necessary for as long as it takes to win a comprehensive, just and lasting peace.
In the days since a US Army veteran drove a truck into dozens of New Year's Day revelers, normalcy has begun to return to New Orleans. US President Joe Biden also plans to visit on Monday to meet with officials and victims' families. Next month, the city will host the National Football League Super Bowl. President of the New Orleans Tourism Board, Walter Legger, said that locals across town are excited for the Super Bowl as city returns to normalcy.
I think asserting their defiance and saying that nothing is going to disrupt this special place, nothing's going to prevent us from gathering in a unique and remarkable way in a unique and remarkable city.
The FBI said on Friday that the suspect in the Tesla Cybertruck explosion outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas had no animosity towards President-elect Donald Trump. The FBI reiterated that there was no definitive link between the New Year's Day New Orleans truck attack that killed over a dozen people and the Cybertruck explosion in Las Vegas later on the same day, which left 7 people with minor injuries. At a press conference held by the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, Spencer Evans, special agent in charge, briefed the recent findings.
we have interviewed family members, friends, the subject's associates, and military members that he served with around the globe. Through these interviews, we've found that the subject held no animosity towards the president-elect.
Tragedy struck in southwestern Colombia as a tourist bus plunged into an abyss near Tangua, Narino, leaving at least 13 dead and 28 injured. The bus en route from Cali to the sanctuary of Our Lady of the Rosary of Las Lajas near the Ecuadorian border veered off the highway on Friday. Emergency responders worked through the wreckage in the remote area where the devastating crash unfolded 570 kilometers southwest of Bogota. The incident highlights Colombia's ongoing road safety crisis, with the Ministry of Transport reporting around 8,000 fatalities annually in traffic accidents. Let's now take a look at other stories making news around the world. Chile's President Gabriel Boric has made a historic trip to the South Pole to reaffirm his country's claim to sovereignty over its part of Antarctica. Boric is the first Latin American leader to reach the Earth's southernmost point. More than 80 soldiers from Guatemala and El Salvador reached Haiti on Friday as part of the Kenyan-led multinational mission to bolster the national police force in the face of spiraling gang violence. Attacks by armed groups have been escalating in multiple areas of Haiti for more than a month. A magnitude 5.5 earthquake struck northern Ethiopia on Friday, where a volcano erupted after months of increased seismic activity. The U.S. Geological Survey has recorded more than 67 earthquakes in the area in the last 4 months, particularly in the Fantel region, part of the Great Rift Valley. Sports now. We'll start with cricket. Early on day 2 of the 5th test, Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Siraj have left Australia gasping for breath in Sydney. Australia started the day on a score of 9 for 1. Bumrah scalped Marnus Labuschagne, while Mohammad Siraj removed Sam Constas and Travis Head, leaving Australia 5 down as they aim to surpass India's first innings total of 185. This is Bumrah's 32nd wicket in the series, which is the most by any Indian bowler in a series in Australia, surpassing the great Bishan Singh Bedi. The duo have rattled Australia early as the Indian pacers made the most of the vicious bounce on offer at the Sydney cricket ground. Tennis now. Novak Djokovic's hunt for a landmark 100th ATP title ended with a whimper following an unexpected defeat by big serving American Reilly Opelka in the Brisbane International quarterfinals on Friday. Djokovic's Australian Open preparations encountered a setback on Friday after he was eliminated from the Brisbane International by Opelka. Opelka delivered a commanding performance which resulted in a 7-6, 6-3 victory. Djokovic had entered the tournament asserting his ability to challenge younger players. However, the 27-year-old Opelka, who has been a former world number 17, dominated the match. He secured a comfortable win in 1 hour and 40 minutes. Colombia has just unveiled a massive Christ monument created using 3D printing technology, standing at an impressive 11 meters tall, inspired by Rio de Janeiro's famous Christ the Redeemer statue. This statue is not only a marvel of technology but also a celebration of Colombian identity. What's remarkable about this project is the innovative use of 3D printing technology, and the statue's eco-friendly design uses biodegradable materials, making it a sustainable addition to the city's skyline. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.